Hello friends, it's Kristie Marcotte. In today's video, I'll be making some cards using some of Spellbinders' brand new Card Maker II release. There are, I believe, 5 different stamp sets. I selected 2. I have embroidery flowers on the left and simple sentiments on the right. So lots of great sentiments, and the images on the embroidery flowers are beautiful. I love the detail. For my first card, I cut out this white frame using Spellbinders Essential Labels die set. This is a fun set. There are several different sizes for the label, and there's also a die where you can add tiny circles all along the outside of that frame. I decided just to have mine solid though. I'll be adding some color to that white panel using Catherine Pooler's Sangria ink color. I have my blender brush, and I'll put that ink all around the outside edge. It'll be darker on the outside edge, and then I'll do a fainter color toward the inside. Using the same Sangria ink color, I'll also add some splatter to the background. I have an acrylic block. I'll just put a little bit of ink on there, spray some water. Then I'll grab my paintbrush and just tap it over that panel. I love that you can use the solid ink colors for that splatter. You don't have to just use watercolor paint. Next, I'll stamp one of the flowers, and this is the largest image on the embroidery flower stamp set. I'm using intense black ink from Honeybee Stamps, and I do need to ink it up twice, so it's good that I put this in my Mini Misty. So you can see all that lovely detail. For the paper collection, I'm using Urban Plaid, and this is by Catherine Pooler. I selected the Sangria color, so it's this really fun plaid design. I have some purple cardstock that's about the same color as the Sangria ink. Even though the ink and the cardstock colors are very similar, I'll still add some ink along the edge of this strip. It's very subtle, but the ink does add just a slightly darker color on the outside edge. I have all of my pieces cut out so I can start assembling my card. The background piece is 4 1/8 of an inch by 5 3/8 of an inch. And then additional 1/8 of an inch for that background cardstock layer, since this is an American Standard A2 size card. I did need to trim off just a sliver from the top since the cardstock strip wasn't quite as long as that background piece. I'll put my card front onto a card base. Before attaching this floral panel, I will add some scrap cardstock pieces on the right and left side where it'll go off of that cardstock strip. Just trim down some extra cardstock, put some ATG tape on the back. Once I held up that panel to my card, I realized that strip on the left was too wide, so I'll just trim that down. Adding those extra cardstock strips will make sure this panel is nice and level on the card, but I did decide to pop it up using some foam dimension. But even with that foam dimension, I like to have those extra cardstock layers. It is noticeable on the front of the card when everything isn't level. I'll remove the release paper and adhere it more to the right side of the card. For the sentiment, I've already stamped this out. This is just a note, and this is a sentiment included on the embroidery flower set. I did cut the left side at an angle for some extra interest. We'll also need to add some of those scrap cardstock and foam pieces just on the very left side of the sentiment where it goes off of that image panel. I'll use some liquid adhesive to adhere the right side down to the card. I'll first lay that sentiment down loosely so I can make sure to get it nice and straight, and then I'll firmly press it onto the card. For final finishing touch, I'm adding some gem stickers. This is the Crystal Mix by Spellbinders. Putting 2 of them in the upper right hand corner, a couple around the sentiment, and 1 to the right of the floral image. So there is my finished card, and I did make 2 using this design. Since I rarely ever color images, this is a great stamp set. You can use the black ink and do a silhouette like I did, or you can use colored inks. So for card number 2, I'll be using some colored inks on those beautiful florals. The paper collection is by Spellbinders. This is their Together is the Best collection. This was included in their September monthly card kit, but you can also purchase it individually. And I will have links provided in the description box for all of the products I use in this video. I'm using this lovely pattern paper for the background, It has this gold foil design all over it, so it's super shiny. Layer it on some dark brown cardstock. I also have some pattern paper that has a very light white brick pattern on the background. And I am using a card sketch for inspiration. This is MFT number 416. I selected 2 of the floral stamps and 1 of the leaves from the Embroidery Flower stamp set. I have 3 different ink colors. These are all by Catherine Pooler: Bay Breeze, Clay Mask, and Mandarin Spice. I'm doing some second generation stamping. I want to really make sure to show all that detail on the stamps. And if I only stamped it the one time, I feel my ink pads are really juicy, so I do lose some of that detail. I started with the largest image. I'm rotating the stamp so it has a very random pattern on the background. I have many of the stamps going off the edge as well. This is a quick and easy way to create your own pattern paper. For this sentiment, I'll be using the Mandarin Spice color. I'll stamp the sentiment Happy Retirement, and this is from the Simple Sentiment stamp set. I'll add both of these pieces onto the brown cardstock layer. For my cardstock layers, I usually add an additional 1/8 of an inch to the measurements listed on the sketch. Now there is a little wider gap between that sentiment strip and the pattern paper. Just for some extra sparkle, I'm adding a Love from Lizi peel off right through the center of that area. Just trim that off using my craft knife. Then I'll put some ATG tape on the back of this panel and adhere it to the background. And since that background has a lot of the gold foil, I'll also put just a little bit of liquid adhesive. I want to make sure that piece won't fall off later. Instead of the heart that's indicated on the sketch, I'll be adding some leaves. And this is a die set from Spellbinders. I believe it's their Autumn Leaves die set. I selected one that's fairly similar to the leaves in the stamp set. I did pop up the largest leaf using a thin foam square. I'll put liquid adhesive on the rest. So there is my finished card, and again, I did make 2 using this design. I never have any retirement cards on hand, so it's really nice that they included a happy retirement sentiment on their Simple Sentiment stamp set. Now here's another look at the 4 cards I made using Spellbinders Card Maker II release. I do have links provided in the description box for all of the products used in this video, and you can also check out the other stamps that are available with this release. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.